Hey guys, I'm back today with my 10 cards, 1 kit for the Love from Lizzie February 2019 card kit. We're going to jump right in. This is card 1. It came with an embossing folder and this foiled specialty cardstock. And my favorite thing to do with this foiled paper is to emboss it. And look how pretty that embossing came out. If you want to check out the unboxing, I will link it above. The kit is sold out, so this is merely just for inspiration if you have the kit. But also, if you don't have the kit and you're watching, think about layouts of cards. I always do that if I can't or don't want the products that are being shown. I at least consider the layout because if you're like me, that's what I struggle with the most. So this chipboard piece was part of an add-on. And the feather, I was trying to figure out what to do with this card, and there's card 1. The feather stuck to it, so I had to go with it. So that card was kind of an accident. So card 2, I took that huge 12 by 12 paper and I cut some of the little squares out. And here I'm just doing some tone on tone with my Versamark ink pad and stamping out the feather from the stamp set. All of the links will be linked below. If you're interested in checking anything out, please check there first before leaving a comment on a product and where you could find it. Like I said, the kit is sold out. There may be elements of add-ons still available, which I will find and link below. But also information on Lizzie's kits will be linked below if you're interested in subscribing to not miss the next month's kit. This kit sold out so fast. I think it was her most fast selling. Does that even make sense? Kit since she has started making kits. It was crazy. So I go ahead and take those squares and kind of just stagger them like this. I popped them up with Stamp Dimensionals and adhered those down. I thought that went really well with the theme of the kit. It's very Art Deco. Add a few of the rhinestones that were included in the kit, and that will complete card 2. I actually really like this card. I like the simplicity. I like the addition of the peel-offs. The peel-offs are so pretty in this month's kit. Love them. For card 3, I'm going to take the sentiment thank you. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This sentiment is actually from a different stamp set. A simple thank you sentiment. I'm sure in your stash you have a stamp set that has the sentiment thank you. So I go ahead and cut it out using this rectangle stitch die. I cut all 3 out, put them aside. I take my rectangle stitch dies and I line them up on this piece of glitter cardstock. Now you can buy dies that create a thick border, or you can use 2 dies from the same set of dies like I am here, adhere them down, cut it out, and then you have that same thick border. Now I'm taping these down with washi tape. Washi tape really doesn't stick to glittered cardstock, and when I cut it out, it shifted, so it looks horrible. But I was like, well, I'm gonna make it work because I'm not wasting any of this glitter cardstock. So my square is really wonky, obviously. But you get the idea of creating your own thick border with using 2 dies instead of spending $30 for 1 die to create the same look. Granted, it would be straight. But whatever. I'm trying to decide what die will cover the top portion because obviously I messed it up. Go ahead and cut this pattern paper out and then I adhere it. Now, the way I adhere it, I tried my best to make the top and bottom even. There is more glitter showing on the bottom, but then also you see a peak at the top of the blue cardstock showing through, which a normal person would not notice, but me, that's all I see when I look at the card. But no big deal. It's still a pretty card. I take the 3 thank you sentiments that I stamped out and cut and just adhere them down. And if that little space at the top where I messed up, I could go back and just add a little sliver of glitter cardstock, tuck it behind there, and nobody would notice. I use the Nuvo drops to complete the card, and that is it. For card 4, I've taken one of the dies and I've cut out this piece, as you can see. Now, it's very thin, very intricate. You do what's best for you as far as adhering it. For me, what worked at this moment was just putting glue on my finger and rubbing it along the die. I do have a silicone mat. Don't ask me where it is. I'm still learning where things are since my craft room makeover. I'm like, okay, I know I have that, but where did I put it? It's one of the drawbacks of actually organizing. I forget where I put things. And a silicone mat would work perfectly to add glue to this because the glue, it's just easier to work with. Anyway, I go ahead and attach these 3D stickers, chipboard stickers that were part of an add-on, and go ahead and adhere this to my card base. I believe this whole thing is crooked, but yeah, so you can see the die I adhered a little crooked, but you guys get the idea. So for card 5, I took some of that specialty paper again and heat embossed it. Embossed it with the embossing folder. It is so pretty embossing that specialty cardstock. You can use either side, either the embossed or debossed side, and you could have it, I think, do I do this right side up? Yeah, I do fix it. Anyway, I take the kit came with a 12 by 12 sticker sheet, and I take the sticker that included all the ladies, adhered that down. Then I wrap some of the ribbon around the card panel. So there you see the sticker, really cute. I take this ribbon, tie a bow. I'll attach it with a glue dot after I trim the tails. And then what do? I take one of the feathers in the kits, and some of the twig of pearls. I do trim it with a wire cutter. I do, and it's really easy to trim. I just was not, that was user error. It just pops off. I was just cutting it in the wrong area of my tool. But I really enjoyed working with the feathers, surprisingly. Feathers aren't something I would normally take out to make a card. But it was a lot of fun, and that is why Lizi's kits are so great, because they include items that you necessarily wouldn't think to use for a card. So I went ahead and stamped my sentiment. I had cut out a square, but then I changed it. I had positioned it to be like a diamond, because I thought that went with the Art Deco theme. I pop it up, and this sentiment is from the stamp set that comes in the kit. And then I just adhere that down. I was telling my husband when I was working on the kit, I was like, you know, Lizi's kits, they're all over the place. And typically when you say something's all over the place, it's a bad thing. But I meant it in a good way, because if you think about all the companies that have kits, Lizi's are the most versatile. I mean, the themes I've never seen in other kits before. So it's really interesting if you want to try different things to, consider getting her kits, because who would have ever thought to do this theme? It's just interesting to work with different papers, different items that you may not necessarily purchase, but get a chance to work with it because it came in a kit. I hope that makes sense. So like this little netting ribbon, you would need to use double-sided tape. My little tape runner is not going to work for it. Did not work. So I added double-sided tape, and here I'm just deciding where it will go. And again, I would never think to use this for a card, but it adds great texture and interest to a card. So, it kind of makes card making exciting. It forces you to be creative. These are 2 stickers that I'm adhering to the card base, or the card panel. And you saw me earlier take my embossing bag and get rid of the stickiness. Typically that's what I do for stickers. I get rid of the stickiness in order to pop the stickers up. And by getting rid of the stickiness, it just allows you to be assured that if you mail this and it gets smushed, that the sticker doesn't stick in areas you don't want it to. I go ahead and decide to add another sticker. That completes that card. For card 7, I just noticed my camera strap is in the frame on the bottom right-hand corner of the film. So sorry about that. That's kind of annoying. So for this card, I've taken 2 of the pattern papers and attached them and trimmed them down accordingly in order to fit my card base. I add a peel off where the 2 pieces of cardstock or pattern paper meet. I always like to do that to give it a more finished look. I go ahead and pop up these 2 pieces, and this that I'm looking at now, these brads, they're a part of an add-on as well. I really like the brads. They're a lot of fun. By the way, all my cards measure A2 size, so 5.5 by 4.25 inches. Once I have cut and scored, that's the measurement of the card. So I'm just going to poke a hole. The brad part is not as sturdy. It's a little bit of a thin, I don't know if it's even metal. I don't know, but we'll say metal. Thin metal, so it really doesn't have the strength to push through the paper. So I just use a pokey tool to help it get through, get started, and then punch it through, and then I add washi tape to kind of smooth out the area to avoid it coming up or whatever. They lay pretty flat, so you don't feel like, if you know, I'm adding dimension here, but you don't have to add dimension. If you added it flat to a card base, there would not be a big like bump where the brad is. It would be okay. I do go ahead and add some sequins to the card. And that will complete this card. Eventually. For card 8, I'm adding some tape to my card base. If I was thinking, I would have used my wide double-sided tape, but either way, whatever you feel is best, do it that way. And here I'm taking pieces, leftover pieces of that 12 by 12 sheet with these little tile pieces and just trying to line them up in a way that matches. And I'm doing it all over my card base. And then I will trim it up. I actually really ended up liking this card a lot. It's very simple, but I like all the kind of puzzle pieces that are put together. I go in and trim all that off, and then I do take 3 of the squares here, and I add some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I go ahead and I picked out 2 sentiment type pieces in an image and pop these up. I thought that would give it extra dimension, obviously, but just some interest to the card. I thought was pretty cool. And then in the add-on sticker pack here, there was a sentiment that said add a girl as well. So I go ahead and add that to the top. Of course, if you don't have that add-on piece, it already said add a girl, so you could leave it. But I really liked the way that looked. So I was coming to the end, card 9, and I'm like, I have not used the peacock stamp, which is beautiful. So I go ahead and stamp it on this piece of pattern paper from the kit, and then I heat emboss it with the Golden Crown embossing powder from Lizi. I believe this powder, if I'm not mistaken, is similar to the Simon Says Stamp Antique Gold, which is one of my favorite embossing powders. Go ahead and heat that up, and the detail to that peacock is just beautiful. It is so pretty. And then I just go ahead and place all the pieces of pattern paper I wanted to use onto this card base. I add a trim of the gold. And by the way, that gold glitter cardstock is an add-on. It's a packet. So I'll have all the add-ons linked below if you're interested. Whatever's in stock, I'll have linked below. But, you know, I'll have Lizi's site so you can always go and look around to see what she has available. I take some sentiment dies from Queen & Company, which I'll have linked below. It's a great set of dies. You get a ton of sentiments for a fairly inexpensive price. And one of them is a hello sentiment, and I cut it out using the glitter cardstock and just go ahead and adhere it down. Add a few gemstones or rhinestones, and that completes that card. For the final card, I take these 2 wooden feathers, wood chip feathers that came in the kit, and go ahead and adhere those together. Then I take that teal ribbon and tie a bow to make it look like the feathers are tied together with that bow, or with that ribbon. I adhere it to the feathers, and to the right there you see thanks. That's the same die set with the same glitter paper, and I go ahead and adhere this pattern paper with to my card base, and then attach the feathers here, and then I will attach the thanks sentiment using some art glitter glue, and then I again add some of the rhinestones, and that will complete this card. And as always, in a moment here, I will show you everything I have left over from the kit. I always have a ton of supplies left over. Let me know what your favorite card was. Also, below will be listed my Etsy shop. I still have D-stash items available, and they're all at 10% off right now. So head on over there if you haven't checked it out. There's a lot left over. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions. If you have questions about products used, check the description box first before asking me. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye.